Chapter 13 of Confusion Bureau United We Stand by Arcade Striker JK5. Deep below Autobot City, several rooms had been built, partially isolated from the rest of the city. They were clean rooms, used for the stage contagious diseases and other harmful substances that could be devastating if unleashed upon the world. They lay behind airlocks, force fields, and fire doors that could seal shut with a moment's notice. Wheeljack, Perceptor, Twilight Sparkle, Albert, and Chip were in one of the rooms. Wheeljack and Perceptor stood in front of the observation window that spanned nearly one entire wall, while the other three stood on a large table in the center of the room near a pair of human-sized workstations. A large holographic projector dominated the center of the table. On the other side of the observation window was a remote-operated laboratory. All the vials of potion to possess it were in there. 5 were mounted on a rack, while the 6th was held by a manipulator arm. Sensor wands extended from the wall and surrounded the vial, each one designed for a specific function. The holographic projector flared to life as the sensor wand sprang to life and swept over a vial of potion. A shimmering light now formed, briefly reminding Twilight Sparkle of Trixie's performances of Celestia's maid. She shook out the thought as the light coalesced into a greenish swirl. Bright brands of iridescent light laced through it. Charging grass, scrolling paragraphs of text appeared alongside the image. She raised the hood to her chin, but stopped, remembering the form-fitting quarantine suit she, Chip, and Albert wore. Chip paced about the hologram. Okay, looks like there's nothing here but a fluid. In those strands of energy, Twilight and Albert, what are we seeing? Albert walked around the hologram. Those strands. I bet anything that each one has a specific part of the overall transmutation spell. No way something this insanely complex and invasive could be in one spell. There was a brief period of silence as everyone turned to Twilight Sparkle. She eventually noticed the stairs let out a yelp of surprise. Okay, he's right. Sweet heard. I figured my not correcting him was enough of a confirmation. Chip stifled a laugh. Okay, so we know it's transmutation. A very complex transmutation. Anything else? Twilight Sparkle turned to the observation window. Wheeljack, could you give me a lift over there? There's no ledge to teleport onto. She waited for Wheeljack to place the palm of his hand on the table and trotted over to it. Wheeljack slowly stepped over to the window and held her in front of it. Twilight's horn lit up, and a glow enveloped the vial. Her eyes half closed as white magic wavered around her horn. She suddenly gasped. That is definitely magic like Princess Celestia's. Her brow furrowed. And mind control spells, too. Subtle, but they're there. Perceptor brushed his chin paced back and forth. There must be some way to reverse transmutation spells and mind control, so we can convert a new foe back into a human and undo Celestia's control over them. Twilight swallowed. I think we can figure out a way, but I need to be closer. She turned and looked up to Wheeljack. As in, I had to be inside the remote lab. Wheeljack's focal receptors lit up. Whoa! No can't do, little lady. There's a reason we're on this side of a triple-pane window, and we're using your remote manipulator arms on that side of the window. We've got sensors that are going to tell us plain. Twilight Sparkle shook her head. There's something about handling it with my own magic that tells me what sensors can't, Wheeljack. I wish I could explain it, but it's instinctual. I can look at the data and readings all I want to, but there's nothing that can substitute holding it in my own aura. Come on, guys. You all know what I'm talking about. Receptor finally spoke up. I must afraid I must get tour with Twilight, Wheeljack. We can observe the potion and take all the readings we wish, but there is no substitute for direct experimentation. Wheeljack's faux quarter let out a brief burst of static. All right. He looked down at Twilight, still in the palm of his hand. But you be careful in there. Chip shook his head. I never thought I'd see the day when Wheeljack is the voice of reason. Twilight paid him no mind. Okay, going in. She finished from Wheeljack's hand and reappeared on the table inside the remote lab. The top half of her helmet glowed, and the stopper of the vial of potion uncorked itself. The lightly iridescent liquid floated out. Okay, guys, she said, her voice coming through the room's intercom. Please tell me what the sensors are saying as I work. I want to make sure that this is right. Chip, Albert, Perceptor huddled around the hologram projector, while Wheeljack stood by the observation window. Albert gasped as one of the strands suddenly switched color. He glanced at the ground. Twilight, if I'm reading this right, It does successfully reverse the process on one of the spells. Perceptor's optic sensors brighten. You read that correctly, young Albert. The atomic restructuring process has been successfully altered to produce the opposite effect intended. A smile crossed Twilight's muzzle. She concentrated once more on the potion. Another strand slowly changed color. One by one, the strands of spells in the potion changed. Each one, though, was slightly slower than the last. After nearly 30 minutes of panting, sweating, and droopy, Twilight Sparkle finally dropped her head and extinguished her horn. Okay, that single vial is out, done. And part of the use of the human swear words, but that took a hell of a lot out of me. The potion floated back into the vial. Twilight Sparkle then teleported out of the remote lab and back onto the table. Cloud seeds of the seal seemed materialized. Chip and Albert were by her side in an instant, while Perceptor and Wheeljack hovered close by. Chip glanced to the remote lab, then back to the panting unicorn. I'm gonna risk it! He undid the seal around her helmet and pulled it off. Twilight? Twilight! Can you hear me? Twilight Sparkle sucked in several breaths and blinked rapidly. She raised her hand to the window. Too much power, she finally said. That false Celestia. She dumped so much magical energy to it. It's like trying to swim at Niagara Falls. Sensor's right hand retracted, a sensor one extended from his wrist socket. Ran over Twilight Sparkle and his optics flash. Physically, you're perfectly functional. However, your thermic energy reserves look depleted. Wheeljack looked at Twilight Sparkle, then around various pieces of equipment in the room. So you need more power, right? He picked up the energy emitter from one desk and brought it to the table. I think I can hook this up to Autobot 6's main generators, then mainline it right through you. You'll have all the power you'll need. Albert stared at him, open mouthed. You're kidding, right? Do you have any idea how dangerous that could be? You could burn out her entire nervous system. Wheeljack shook his head. I'll be monitoring her throughout the operation, and I'll have my finger over the cutoff switch. Besides, it's not like I haven't done this before. Chip slapped his forehead. Wheeljack, it's a little harder to attach one of Twilight's limbs if it gets blown off than you. Receptor grabbed Wheeljack by the shoulder and pushed him away from the table. I'm afraid your concerns and rebuttals are valid, my friend. This plan is far too risky. Twilight Sparkle cleared her throat, getting everyone's attention. I appreciate the concern, but I really don't think we got time to take the safe route. Not that we even know what the safe route is. She pointed to the observation window. I'm going back in there. I'm going to alter those vials of potion, and I appreciate all the help I can get. The other occupants of the room were silent for a few moments. The sounds of a machine in there almost too loud. Finally, Chip and Albert turned to the projector in the middle of the table. Chip flipped a few switches. All right, we'll continue to monitor the changes to the potion. Wheeljack, you good to install that thing? Wheeljack walked over to an airlock embedded in the wall next to an observation window, mirror in hand. He entered the clean room, pulled out a ceiling-mounted arm, spent several minutes hooking the mirror into the arm, double-checking the connections and testing it. He exited the clean room, flashing a thumbs up. All set, Twilight! Twilight sparkled. Horn flared as she teleported back inside the room. Intercom squealed as she spoke. Okay, Wheeljack, hit it! Wheeljack pulled the lever down. The mirror split, brightened for a moment before a dazzling bright beam of violet energy shot through it, striking Twilight Sparkle, enveloping her. Her mane, tail, and every head of her coat shot straight. Her eyes spluttered, and her eyes glowed purple. She opened her mouth a bit as smoke came out. I'm fine, she finally said. I think. Perceptor bent over a console mounted on the wall, and there was a Twilight Sparkle's body appear on the screen, almost several reads. Her vital signs are stable, for now at least. I strenuously suggest doing this as rapidly as possible with the least margin of error. Another of the files floated up from the rack and uncorked itself. The iridescent pulses floated out. Twilight Sparkle ground her teeth together. Much better! She let out a whistle as the holographic readout of the potion changed much more rapidly than before. Twilight, you're doing it! He half shouted. Wheeljack studied the energy output in the mirror. Hey, wait a second. There's something wrong. He pointed out to the graph. There's a drain somewhere. Don't worry, Wheeljack. I'm siphoning some of the energy to my own magic reserves. Twilight Sparkle shouted, her voice audible even through the glass. Wheeljack's objects brightened. Now that's a mirror after my own laser core. The potion flowed back into the file, fully altered. Twilight Sparkle uncorked the next file, working her magic just as quickly over it. Now I know what I'm doing. This is almost easy. Albert sorry. Don't jinx yourself. He turned to the window, started to turn back, but stopped and adjusted his glasses. Hey, Chip? Chip glanced up. Yeah, Albert? Albert pointed to the energy crackling around Twilight Sparkle. Some of it floated off of her in waves, flapping about in a non-existent breeze. Is it just me? Or does that look like, well, wings? Chip leaned back and rubbed his chin. Well, he tilted his head slightly. Maybe. Within a few minutes, the final post-it had been altered. Wheeljack cut the power and the beam disappeared. Twilight's hair remained standing for a few moments before finally starting to settle back down. Horn flared as he teleported back to the table. That was fun! She glanced at the hologram, icing her right, and holy hurt, it worked! Wheeljack and Perceptor walked over to the table. Albert slowly smiled. Most impressive, Twilight. You indeed altered all 5 vials of potion, refreshing the spells. We can use this to change Newfolds back into human beings and cut Celestia's mind control. Boom! Everyone's head shot up. What was that? Twilight Sparkle asked, ears dripping slightly. Aircraft buzzed and crackles activated. You! This is City Commander Blaster! Blasting out all to you! We got some really nasty knockouts incoming from the barrier, along with a lot of those evil pony doppelgangers. All civilians are to head to your closest shelter. All military personnel report to your duty stations, and everyone get ready. This city's about to sink and quake as it confers to battle station mode. And maybe the Big M will make his appearance too. Stay tuned for further announcements. Over and out. Twilight Sparkle's head fired back and forth, ears slowly about. Oh boy, what do we do? I was gonna break down what happens when we get attacked. Wheeljack and Perceptor exchanged a glance. Well, we both got duty stations to report to, Wheeljack said, his voice hissing slightly. Perceptor crossed the distance between him and Wheeljack. He stretched out, palm on the shoulder. We will be all right to attend to your station. Wheeljack stood there for a moment, hands collapsed. Scrap it, I will. He looked up and locked eyes with Perceptor. Thanks, buddy. Twilight Sparkle turned to Chip, a questioning look on her face. Chip swallowed. Bad tracks for Wheeljack. About 7 years ago, Autobot City was attacked. He and Windcharger got hurt pretty badly. Nearly went permanently offline. Wheeljack nodded to him. Yeah, but I'll be scrapped to the pit if I don't do my part here. Twilight Sparkle glanced at Chip and Albert. What about you two? Chip waved a hand at the door. I've got to station at the command center when I'm here. Albert, on the other hand, Albert shrugged. I'll be kind of useless in battle. He dug his hands in the coat pockets and turned them inside out. I don't have my magic cat with me, so I'm heading to the closest shelter. Twilight Sparkle's brow furrowed slightly. Wheeljack, if it's all right, I'd like to accompany you to your duty station. Wheeljack leaned back slightly, scratched his head. You sure about that, Twilight? It could get a bit dangerous. You're a bit squishier than I am. Twilight Sparkle smirked and her horns glowed. The tip of her horn flared. Translucent spear formed around her. Evaporated as he teleported onto Wheeljack's shoulder. I can take care of myself in a pinch, her expression softened. And I feel bad if you got hurt again and I wasn't there to help. Friends try to help each other out. Although he had no mouth, Wheeljack seemed to smile. Alright, Twilight, welcome aboard. He looked to the airs. No time to be idling on monitors, everyone. As Optimus would say, roll out! Chapter 14. Mike, Michelle, Danny, Molly all sat or stood on one of Autobot City's numerous guest suites. A wall-mounted view screen was on, turned to one of the local radio stations. Danny rolled over. Computer, turn the television off. He looked around, the screen went dark. No one was watching yet, were they? Molly walked over to the small table where Michelle sat, hunched over. She pulled a chair over, sat down next to her niece. Regina gently patted her back. I won't insult your intelligence by asking if you're okay, but are you at least holding up? Michelle shifted in a chair. How can you insult Molly? I'm glad I'm older than you're right. I just wanted to kick back guys' butt so we can all go. Her expression fell even more. All right. That stupid flake Celestia destroyed our home. Mike walked over to and knelt by Michelle's side. Hey, now the house may have gone right. That's not the home. He tapped his chest. It's in here. When you're with family. Michelle down. Man, that was so corny, she said, mouth turning up slightly. Molly nodded. Yeah, the kid's right. Hitler's bad. She reached over his flat out. Mike shrugged. I'm a dad. I have to be cool on occasion. Boom! He said, shot around. You little asshole dad. Mike looked over, confused on his brow. Hear what? Monitor turned on once more. Instead of the program that was on before, the words Red Alert flashed on the screen. A computer voice came over. Autobot City is under attack. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. All EDC personnel and Autobots are to report to duty station. All civilians report to their nearest shelter. Autobot City is under attack. This is... The door slid open, and Marie Hernandez stood there, expressing grin. Mr. Richards, as you're probably already aware of, Autobot City is under attack. She walked in, glanced at the monitor. Mike stood up, a hand on Michelle's shoulder. Those fake equestrians? Marie pursed her lips. Them and some reinforcements. There seems to be Autobot knuckles eating them. Does he do it? I'm gonna do it. Does he do it? I'm gonna do it. Autobot knockoffs. They prefer to be called GoBots. Trixie hates you. She stepped aside and motioned to the door. I'll fill you in on what I know as soon as I get you to the shelter. The group stepped out into the already crowded hallway. Mike and Molly fight Michelle, while Danny rolled along behind. The three keeping tabs on her. Marie moves quickly, leading them through the crowd of others seeking shelter. She and the others quickly approached a pair of heavily armed double doors, with two EDC soldiers in full armor standing guard. She flashed her ID at him, and he inputted a code into a keypad next door. We got a few riders in this one already. The door slid on the wall, revealing a somewhat small, sparsely furnished room, where Fluttershy, Rarity, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, Spike, and Applejack all stood or sat. Pinkie's mane and tail were flat. When she looked up at the newest arrivals, she let out a gasp, and her hair gained some of its bounce. You're all right! Michelle rushed in, dropped to a knee, and hugged Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie returned the embrace, and the two hugged for a minute. Marie waved a hand about the shelter's interior. It's not so luxurious, but there's food, water, and bathroom facilities. Michelle held her hand to her earbud. Yes, understood. She looked at Mike in duty calls. Mike bowed his head. Thank you, Commander. He glanced at her, and as she ran off before entering the shelter, along with Mike and Danny. The doors closed behind him with a thunk. He sat down next to Applejack. How are things going? Applejack slowly shook her head. Not the best, Mac. We're probably a lot better than you. She looked at Michelle in Pinkie Pie's direction. How's the little darling doing? Michelle looked over. I can hear you. You know that, right? Applejack nodded to her. Sorry about that, Secret Cube. Danny rolled over and parked himself on the side of the kiosk. Well, our sister's returned to an Alcorn by a insane version of her adopted daughter. Michelle's sister is trapped on the other side of the Rainbow Bridge. And that insane version wants to convert everyone to Earth to a smiling zombie pony for her control. Raised his arm and checked his wrist. So, right about now, Megan's coming up with a daring plan to stop the bad guys and girls. Celestia and Luna are undoubtedly either contributing or making their own plans that also coincidentally managed to complement and enhance Megan's plan. Somebody's been reading the script. Mike slowly blinked. I almost forgot how much experience you guys will have in this, Danny. Danny shrugged. Sometimes I wish I didn't. Mike. Molly looked around. Say, wait a second. She pointed at each one of the ponies in the room. Okay, 5 ponies, 1 dragon. We're missing a mare here. Spike, do you know where Twilight is? All eyes turned to the baby dragon. Spike's slight strangling on her sears. Last I heard, she was in some lab with Wheeljack, Perceptor, Chip, and Albert Preston, working on that poster he got for those evil versions of you. Mike pulled out his cell phone and tapped it. Within seconds, Twilight Sparkle's voice came over the speakers. Hello? Mike? Sorry, can't talk right now. Little busy. Spike ran over the phone. Twilight, where the heck are you? Nervous laughter came over the speakers. Well, Spike, it's a bit of a long story. Good news is, we've got a method for reversing the effects of the potion. Not so good news is, I'm with Wheeljack and helping him transform Autobot City into battle station mode. Silence permeated the room for a moment before Rainbow Dash spoke up. Wait! Why does she get to do the cool stuff? Spike climbed up into the couch next to Mike, leaning close. Twilight, are you crazy? You could get hurt! Or worse. Twilight's voice came over again, this time much softer. Spike, I'm sorry to worry you or the others, but if I've got the ability to help out, then I'm going to use it. There was a pause. Besides, I think the shelter would be a bit too crowded with me inside. Despite the tension, Spike managed to crack a grin. Yeah, and you go crazy being here with everyone else. Exactly. Okay, sorry, but we'll be arriving at Wheeljack Station soon. I have to go. I promise I'll do my best to stay safe. See you after this craziness is over. Everyone shouted their well wishes over the phone. There was an audible click, and the screen showed to connection cut. Upset grabbed the foreleg around Spike's neck. Don't worry, Spike. Twilight knows how to take care of herself. Spike leaned to the hug. I know. That's what sometimes worries me about her. Twilight Sparkle turned her phone off and sent it floating back into her saddlebags. She was inside Wheeljack's interior as he drove along. He looked out the window at the streets, empty except for other Autobots and EDC soldiers. Where is everyone? Wheeljack's voice came through the speakers all around the interior, surrounding her but not overwhelming. We've had a lot of practice getting civilians into shelters. It's been about 5 years since an actual attack on Autobot City, but we haven't forgotten. Wheeljack came to an intersection at the end of the street. Now he was slowing down, raced around the corner. Twilight Sparkle let out a scream as he burnt rubber and continued on, finally arriving at a small bunker at the end of the street. His doors opened, allowing his passenger to disembark before transforming into robot mode. As he walked up to the bunker, the door slid open. It's a lot safer than how it used to be. Once we're inside, an absolutely enormous drone dropped from the sky, landing behind Wheeljack and Twilight Sparkle. Towering over Wheeljack by nearly a head, it was covered in thick, golden armor plating, with nary an exposed surface. A dozen lasers and mirrors circled each forearm, while its right hand gripped a large battle axe. Blood-red object sensors peered out from a dome head, quickly locking onto Wheeljack and Twilight Sparkle. Wheeljack's soldiers slumped. Son of a glitch! He skipped Twilight Sparkle in his arms and dove to the right. Mere moments before the drone's mist-round laser cannons began firing, blowing a hole in the street he was standing in mere moments before. Twilight Sparkle let out a short shout. What the Tartarus is that thing? She hopped down Wheeljack's arms as he landed and rolled. Her eyes narrowed. Wait, that looks like a Mark V Guardian drone, modified to have hands. Whoa! She teleported out of the way of the barrage of laser fire, reappearing behind it. Wheeljack, if that thing's anything like the ones in this reality, it's susceptible to strong magnetic fields, Wheeljack finished. He rose to his feet and backpedaled. His launcher mounted on his right shoulder, sloping up and down. Give me a second or so to get this right shells ready. I had this thing loaded with high explosive rounds. So never flash of light, Twilight Sparkle reappeared in front of Wheeljack. Her horn blazed for a moment. Her eyes glowed a violet-tinged barrier in front of the two. Make it snappy! She shouted. I'm not as good as these shiny is! Her horn glowed again as she fired several dozen bursts of magic at the drone, peppering its armor with scorch marks. A bark of laughter came from Wheeljack. Nice job, Twilight! Now it's my turn! His launcher fired 2 shells, one to the left and one to the right of the drone. Each one landed and struck to the street with a loud clang! The drone painted shells little mighty at first. It stopped as both let out a high-pitched whine. Its head slowed to its left as the cells started growing. The drone's body jerking from side to side, its arms swinging back, almost comedically back and forth. Wheeljack's optics flashed. Those shells don't have enough power to stop it permanently. He pointed at the bulbous head. There's an access port in the back of the neck. If we can shoot a laser or something through it, he'll overload his cerebral circuits and shut it down. Twilight Sparkle's eyes darted back and forth. She carried to her left, stopped, and fired a continuous stream of magic at the bunker. It struck an angled plank of armor, reflecting it down the street, then back up to the air, where it struck the drone right in the back of the neck. The drone's body seized up. His speakers let out an ear-splitting squeal. His object sensors exploded, smoke billowing from the holes. Magic cells shut off and the drone tumbled to the street. It landed and laid there, unmoving. Wheeljack rubbed his chin and nodded. Nice thing, Twilight. It sure makes sure she's not jealous. He ran towards the bunker, Twilight Sparkle following. As soon as they were both inside, he slammed the panel next to the doorway and sealed it shut. Okay, this thing is 5 feet of terrestrial steel all around, reinforced by force fields. It's a lot more secure and safer than how we used to transform Autobot City. All around the pair, lights switched on, revealing one large computer console and a few smaller stations. Even as Wheeljack walked up to the main consoles, it lit up the large screen, showing several diagrams and schematics. He leaned over to the main control panel and began pressing buttons and flopping switches. Twilight Sparkle teleported from the floor to a spot on the main console bereft of any buttons, knobs, or switches. Okay, you need help with this? Wheeljack haphazardly motioned to one of the smaller stations lining the walls. Just check out the sequencing and make sure no alarms are going off. He leaned into a closer microphone. This is Station 47. Transformation sequence engaged. Everything's showing green. Twilight Sparkle's eyes scanned the readouts and graphs. Wheeljack, any other Autobot have magnetic abilities? I bet a copy of Star Wars Diary. More of those drones are incoming. Oh, so far everything is in the green. Armor plating slating into place and anti-missiles launchers deploying. Wheeljack let out a small chuckle. Well, there's wind charge, sir. But last I heard, he had moved to Velocitron. Built a nice house there. Sends me pictures every other week. Guess that's a bit too far to help out? Afraid so. Deep in the heart of Autobot City, the command tower sat. A large square building with a red-tinted observation window stretching across the uppermost level. It was the nerve center of Autobot City in times of war and peace. Right now, City Commander Blaster stood in the uppermost level, the entire area a hive of activity and jumbled shouting. His hyper-developed audio sensors kept track of every shout, whisper, every command given, sorting them by importance and urgency. Stations 1 through 47 report successful transformations. Reports for stations 48 through 50 now coming in. All civilians in the shelters. We have 130 drones inbound for the barrier. Profile is a 99% match with Mark V Guardian drones. There's a large group of equestrians heading straight for Commodore Fairborn's command posts. Mix of air and ground units. Blaster's head shut up. Contact Marissa and tell her all things are about to get heavier than a Black Sabbath concert. He glanced back as Trailbreaker walked up to his side. A detachment of Kodiak tanks for the Royal Canadian Armored Corps are inbound for training Fort Campbell, but ETA is still an hour. Kodiaks? Hover tanks. First ones with Cybertronian anti-grav. Blaster replied. They may not hit as hard as the newest Abrams, but they're fast and can go almost anywhere, and they're available. Americans are still focused on slowing down raiders, keeping them away from evacuees. Before Trailbreaker could ask more questions, a voice cut off that line of thought with new concern. Astro train is entering airspace above Autobot City. The comm officer paused, handing to her ear and brow furrowed slightly. He's asking for instructions. Trailbreaker spoke up in the report. Open a channel to him. He waited for confirmation before continuing. Okay, Astro Train, we see you there. Trailbreaker rubbed his chin as his tactical subterraneans kicked in. Information scrolled across his field of vision. Besides Blitzwing, who's with you? Astro Train's rather high-pitched voice came through the aircon. Well, Soundwave, Rabbids, Rumble, Frenzy, Laserbeak, Shockwave, and Ruckus are all on hot standby to launch. And help you Autobots defend freedom? Trailbreaker farted to laugh. No need to get mussy, Astro Train. Still, we appreciate the help. Send them out when ready. He raised his voice. Okay, send word to everyone that all Decepticons are to be regarded as friendlies. I can't believe we just said that. Have all IFF transponders set to ID them properly. He looked at Blaster. Think we'll need a big guy? Blaster rubbed his chin. Well, we better. A shout from Cliffjumper caught his attention. Hey, there's something big coming out of the barrier, Blaster. He slowed around his chair, optics bright. And I mean big! Blaster and Trailbreaker's attention focused on the large hull projector mounted on the floor near the observation window. It had been showing the track of the inbound drones. The image switched to an overhead shot of the barrier. An absolutely huge automaton stomped out of it, humanoid shape. It was covered in deep blue armor and had rust-colored joints. It sported a large drill for a left hand, and an energy emitter sticking out of its nose. Right-handed pincer, with also a drill. Various weapons were sticking out of his chassis, almost haphazardly. Blaster let out a low whistle as measurements started scrolling down the screen of the image. He glanced up. Big M, I think we're going to need your help. A loud, deep voice sounded out from everywhere. I have no problem transforming to combat that thing and aid humanity. Metroplex, living core of Autobot City said, They have given me a home. a place to rest my chassis and energy. For all that you've done for us, we must do what we can assist. Optimus Prime has called us to help them. Trailbreaker raised a fist and clenched it. Send out the call, Metro! Send out the call! Metro Prime is engaged in transformation to robot mode! This is not a drill! And Metroplex, heeds the call of the last Prime! Oh, and, I love how Arcade pointed out a famous quote from the TF Wiki about how no Transformers toy line has ever presented scale in a logical and believable fashion. And he's right. I should know. I've seen it a lot.